Hi, welcome back to VQ Book 1. We're on Lesson 11. Our first word is adroit, adroit handling of the ball. The definition is nimble in use of hand or body, and that means you are using your hand very well, as in someone like a basketball player who can spin the ball on their finger. That's being very adroit. And it comes from the root word droit in French. Probably it's pronounced something like droit, but that's French. I don't speak French, so we'll just call it droit. Droit, having to do with your right hand or being straight. So, linguistically speaking, anything with the right hand, anything associated with the right hand is good. Anything associated with the left hand is bad traditionally. So, a word like sinister comes from Latin sinister, which is the left hand, and now we know sinister things are evil. So, there are a lot of words like that. We'll see them and talk about them later as we come across them. So, usually we're talking about something often relating to hand skills because it is about the right hand. So you're very adroit in doing things with your hands. But sometimes it is also related to cleverness on how you do things or how you think about things. So we can talk about an adroit leader, and that would mean he is able to think of things very cleverly, has good ideas. Or we might talk about adroit maneuvers, and that could be a maneuver of moving personally, like a football player running through the enemy line could be very adroit in how he maneuvers through, or a military unit going through the enemies. He could be making some very clever, adroit maneuvers. Benevolent, the benevolent priest. And that means generous and charitable. If we break down the word, it's very easy to see that we have bene for good and volo for wish. And the opposite would be mal, where mal means bad, and that would make some antonyms. But let's think about the word benevolent. If you are good wishing, it means that you care about other people and you wish good things happen to other people. So generally, we think of someone like a priest as being benevolent, being kind and caring all the time. So that's the phrase, the benevolent priest. Think of a very generous person, caring person. So benevolent is our word for wishing good on others. And what would be the opposite? What if you wish bad on other people? That would use the prefix mal and you would get malevolent. So benevolent and malevolent are opposite words. Similarly, we can talk about benediction and malediction. Benediction is a blessing and malediction is a curse. And one more set, we can talk about beneficent and maleficent. Maleficent was a title of a movie, a Disney movie, I think, about the witch. I forget. Angelina Jolie played the evil witch in a Snow White story. Cinderella, not Cinderella. I think it was Snow White or something. So anyway, that's the title there. It means you're maleficent means you're doing bad, doing harm to others. Beneficent means you're doing good for others. Delineate. Delineate the riot in pictures. To delineate is to portray, to show as an image. It means basically draw a picture of something. And a riot, of course, is when a lot of people are on the streets, going wild, protesting and stuff. And imagine somebody drawing that in pictures. So the breakdown of the word is D for down. Please memorize that. And then you have the word line built into the word. And eight, when you see eight suffix at the end of a word, it means to make it that way. So to delineate, therefore, means to put something down as lines of a picture on a piece of paper. That's delineating something. So it could be actual drawings, or it could be just verbal descriptions of something. You could delineate a scene by telling people about it. So in a book, you might say that the author delineates the character in detail in chapter 1. Elucidate. Elucidate the theory. To elucidate means to explain or to enlighten, which means to give information, to teach, right? The breakdown is you have an E at the front, which means X when it comes in front of a root word. And so that is out. And then you get the word lucid, which is an English word that means clear. And then you have 8 again, which is to make it clear. Clear out isn't going to be interpreted exactly, but it means to draw it out and make it clear for everybody to see. And that is to elucidate. So therefore, it is to make an idea clear. Okay, in usage, you would say that he elucidated the theory, the thing that you're trying to clear up, the idea. But you would not say he elucidated the students about the theory. That would be incorrect usage. You can enlighten the children, the students, about something, but you would elucidate the theory, not the students. Frivolous. Frivolous point, frivolous lawsuit. Something frivolous is lacking in seriousness in the sense that it's so unimportant, nobody should pay attention to whatever that person is saying. So a frivolous point is when someone says something that's kind of nonsensical, it seems very trivial. Suppose the teacher tells the student to write a report about Shakespeare or, an author of his choice, and he says, for example here, I don't want to write about Shakespeare because his name is too long. Okay, maybe he just doesn't want to type out Shakespeare so many times in his report, but that is really that's hardly a good reason to refuse to do a particular topic, the name of the author. So that would be a frivolous point or a frivolous objection to the assignment. When we talk about frivolous lawsuit in United States, it's gotten so litigious that a lot of people sue for things that seem very trivial, and that we call those things frivolous lawsuit. For example, someone says, hey, I'm going to sue you for stepping on my foot. Okay, that's not something that's important enough to go to court for and take up court's time. So that would be considered a frivolous lawsuit, and the judge may just throw out the case altogether for wasting the court's time. Indigenous, the indigenous people. Of course, the indigenous people are the native people, people that were the original inhabitants of an area, right? So in North America, we have the American Indians, which we used to call American Indians, but now the proper term is Native Americans, as we call them. If you go to Australia, you have the natives, the indigenous people there, and those people are called the Australian Aborigines. It's a special term for them. If you went to New Zealand, the indigenous people would be called the Maori people. Meticulous, meticulous housekeeper. That's a housekeeper who is excessively careful, painstaking, and scrupulous in the sense that she takes care of everything and dusts every corner, even maybe under the tables. She leaves nothing untouched. So being very perfect and precise in every detail, that is meticulous. Very thorough and attentive. Prattle. Baby prattled on. That means to babble, and that's the kind of noises that babies make all the time because they can't speak and formulate words yet. They're going to be making meaningless sounds, right? You can also use the word to talk about people who do speak, who chatter on and on, like teenagers talking on the phone all night long. They prattled on through the night, you might say. Resolution. New Year's resolution. That is a determination, as in you're making a promise to yourself to do something. So every new year, people make a resolution that this year I'm going to do something. So there are different forms of this word that we can look at. Resolve, as in the verb form, and you would say something like, he resolved never to lie again. And that's just him telling himself that he's not going to do it again. He's promising himself not to do it again. That's his determination. Resolved would be used as an adjective and in sentence like, he was resolved in his decision. He was very firm and very determined so that no one could sway him. Then that is being resolved about his decision. Or the resolution, like the New Year's resolution, you would say, hey, my New Year's resolution is to master all VQ words. Sycophant. I'm sick of sycophants. The word is not pronounced sycophants, although that's what it looks like. It is sycophants. So the sick of sycophants is there to help you remember the pronunciation. Sick of, sycophant. Definition is servile flatterer, yes man. And that's a person who is always trying to kiss up to you and trying to please you because they want to be your friend. For example, if you're the most popular person in school, then a lot of the other students would want to be sycophantic towards you to please you so that they could hang around with you to become popular. And you might say, hey, I'm sick of these sycophants always coming around trying to be my friend. If we look at the etymology of the word, it's kind of interesting. You do not have to memorize these roots, just the story is interesting. Psychon, fig, Greek I think, and phanein, to show. So it has something to do with one who shows figs. Okay, so showing of figs. And what could that mean? It turns out there's some different stories regarding it. I'll tell you a couple. Various theories. One is a person who makes an obscene hand gesture, which is or was called a fig. So, you know, it's like holding up your middle finger for our modern times, but in the old days, I guess they had a different gesture with the hand, and that person was fig shower, basically. And that would be sycophant. But I don't really like that theory because that doesn't seem to be too related to kissing up to anybody. That just seems like insulting. So there's a long-winded kind of explanation that gets to the definition. The one I think is closer is the second one, which is about a fig orchard, and there's an overseer of the orchard who picks out the best figs, and when the guards come through, the guards want to see, you know, if everybody's working well, and the overseer would give him or show him the best figs and offer it as a gift, kind of a bribe, and try to, you know, kiss up to the guards. And that kind of makes sense with the definition of sycophants. So if you remember that story, it might help you to grasp the idea. Thanks for watching. We'll come back on lesson 12 next time.